You got to have that passion, you got to have that love to whatever career you're going in life, because if you don't, you're just not going to be successful. And if you do get successful, you more than likely won't be happy with what you're doing.
Welcome everyone to another Words of Rizdom podcast. We're back again for part, I think this is 3 now with Pat.
Yeah.
Because we did one together and then we did one with Krishna as well. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
No, definitely. It's been a long time. I know we tried to get it in before, but we've been so busy.
Yeah, I've been away.
That's it. But, well, people will know who you are by now because we've already done some episodes. So we'll just crack straight into what you've been up to.
Not much, to be fair. Been trading, been away for a bit. I'd tried to take some time off. It's actually harder than you think to take time off because you just want
I kept telling you.
Viz kept messaging me like to take some time off, but no, it was nice just to be in a different environment. I was still keeping an eye on the charts, but just not actively trading. So like just doing some stuff, some like Notion stuff, getting ready for 2023, putting some plans in place for that. But yeah, just been trading. Still trying to hit the gym. Been working and then getting ready to go to Thailand in 2023 for a little bit.
That's it, man. You got that confirmed now, right?
Yeah, so the plan was to go from January to May. Actually, what you spoke about in one of the podcasts, a lot of people go out to Thailand now to try and live that full-time trader's life. Because obviously it's a lot cheaper to live out there. So that kind of got me thinking, to be fair, because I was kind of thinking the short-term gain, I'd have to sack in my job and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I just thought about how I am at the minute, and I don't think I'm ready for that at the minute. So I spoke to work to see if they could do kind of, I have to just do a month and keep my job open to return there. And they're happy to do that. So I'm going to cut it down just for about a month, which is still plenty of time to be there. So
It's to gain that experience.
Exactly,
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think I've touched on it before, but it was something that I used to do before as well, is that, and then what I still do, to be fair, with travel, is you want to go, if you have a vision of something, so for yourself, like Thailand, you go and do it for X amount of time.
So I could hate it. You never know. You never know till you do it.
Exactly, yeah.
You
and if you do love it, you take in as much as possible, as in you really try to immerse yourself in, okay, this is my environment, these are the sort of bills, these are the sort of costs, these are the sort of benefits, these are the restaurants, the home, etc. So then when you do come back, you have a very clear vision of what you want to achieve. So big props for doing that, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they want to rush into those sort of things.
Exactly, yeah. And the lucky thing with me, we spoke about this in the last podcast, that the hours I work at the minute work so well with trading, so it'd be stupid to chuck that away. If I was to come back and to find another job, it'd be like I wouldn't be able to get them hours back. So obviously I'm starting at like 3:30, so it's perfect for my trading. Yeah. I've got in a good routine where I trade, gym, go to work. So it's not like I hate the job, and I think too many people quit too early. And I think it's the best thing to hold on to that job for as long as you can, because if I was to quit, that'd be my only source of income.
Yeah.
And at the minute, I'm not really dabbling into anything like crypto or anything like that, because my sole focus is on trading. So I don't know about you, but I'm still in a position where I've still got a lot of a way to go with trading. So I don't want to be putting my focus onto other things and kind of get distracted with
you don't want to spread it.
No, exactly,
you don't want to spread it. And there's the same for me. So like when I was coming up in trading, there were times when I would try and look into crypto as well.
Yeah.
For example, and that's not a problem as in looking into it.
Yeah.
Like literally side project, if you will, very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Right. So you understand the industry and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely always agree that people, unfortunately, especially like when NFTs came along and like the rise of like e-commerce, for example, and all sorts of other avenues, is that so many people spread their attention across so many different industries and different styles that they never become a master of one.
It's exactly what you see in trading as well. Everyone's spreading their styles to different trading strategies. They
constantly
keep going on and on and on.
And by mastering one first, it allows the room for you to then be able to, once that's mastered, quite easily pivot into learning crypto or pivot into learning NFTs, for example. Exactly. While if you're trying to do it all at once, you have no focus on one individual one, and you're still learning that one.
Yeah.
It never really results well. So the beauty was that once I had gotten the trading down, then I could, sort of put my attention into crypto, put my attention into any other project, real estate, whatever it may be. But no, it's good that you recognize that.
Yeah. I think it's just, it took some time just to think about it. I saw early on that I'd kind of be taking a big leap, and it's just kind of better to take it a lot more slower.
Because it's not like the goals changed.
No, exactly.
And, if anything, you're just being not even realistic, but it's more so like doing things in the right way.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you one thing. A lot of people, they have the job, right? Which is completely, I have the job. I think everyone needs some form of income.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you going to do? How are you going to be able to trade for money when you have zero money, no income? All that stress and pressure goes onto the trading, which normally resolves in a cycle of just boom and bust. People eventually you probably have to go get a job.
Yeah.
Right. After digging yourself into a hole psychologically,
you see a lot of people
and financially.
They're coming back to the job because they have taken the leap and it hasn't worked out for them.
I've had people before where they had saved up tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Quit the jobs. For some reason rented an office, right? So created a cost as well, and decided, okay, we're going to go trade from the office. We go all in for 12 months and hope for the best. But with no results backing. No, sometimes they've done that when they haven't even been trading for a long period of time either. And it's absolutely crazy, and I understand the passion. I understand the passion's 100%. There, and the intention is pure, meaning that, if we go all in, we're going to get it. All in, no distractions, we're going to get it. And I understand the intention, but you have to do things in the right manner, because at the end of the day with trading, as we all know, the psychology and the emotions are involved. So if you put yourself into already trading itself is a stressful environment, right?
Let alone all that way.
Exactly. But a lot of people have the jobs, but a lot of people, you'll be surprised, where they don't actually take the action to check if they can change hours.
There's, like you said, there's ways to go about it. Like even just having a conversation with your boss saying, can I reduce my hours here and there? They just take it all off and go. But you can just slowly do it bit by bit by bit.
That's it.
And it takes all the stress off.
That's it. And, when you first got your job, was it a conversation you had at the very beginning, or did you have the job and then sort of pivot later to change the hours?
So the company I'm with, I've kept with them. I went straight in after sixth form. So I started lifeguarding at a leisure centre there, and then I went into what I do now, a duty manager at the gym. And because I've built that good connection with my managers and stuff, they have been very open to it about it. So there's different options what I can have. So I think it's good to build that bridge with them. So then they know what I do. So
this is the thing. You know how I see that you're the type of person where you have your job, but you actually, you do well at your job. You build the rapport with not only the staff and the managers and then the clientele. But you're good at your job. So therefore, the wiggle room for you, because of that rapport, the chance of you being able to request something is much higher. While these other individuals where they hate their job, which I can understand, because it might be a case where you might not like your job, but you still, because you're going to be there anyway, you're going to try your best, right? You're going to do your best and be the best, right? While unfortunately, a lot of other people, they hate their job, right? Which I can understand, I can relate with, that's no problem. But on top of that, they hate being there. So therefore, they don't try their best. They don't try and build any rapport. No. So the chance of them being able to, because they actually have a passion for trading, to be able to go to their manager and say, hey, you know what, I don't try at all whilst I'm here. I don't try and build any rapport for you. But you know what, can you do me this favor?
You've got to build that connection. If I didn't give 100% into my work, like it's exactly what my boss said. He was like, if you're a shit worker, we'd have you gone and we'd replace you in 2 weeks. But the fact that when I do get to work, I do my job. I enjoy it as well. If I didn't enjoy it, then I would have been in a much worse situation, because I would go to Thailand and then I'd have to come back and we're like, why am I at this shit again? But it's the fact that I enjoy it. Like I said, it's not a 9 to 5, so I can make trading work alongside it. And as I said, I'm in a very lucky position, because I do feel for people who work 9 to 5s, because it would be very tough.
It makes it more difficult, yeah, for sure. And again, it reverts back to that same thing though. It's like, I had one student previously, and before he became a student, he was telling me a story. Well, not a story. He basically said to me, like, I got a job once and I quit after a week because I'm not cut out for working. I don't like working. And I said, well, you're never going to be a trader then. You can't even sacrifice for a job just to give yourself some income or just build your skill set up, or you have this mindset where you're not cut out for working. You're never going to, because you have to work in trading. Right? It's no different. Like, you have to put in work to trade. Right? So yeah, I literally think, I don't think this person, this was years back, I don't think they're trading now. And even if they are, they're not doing it successfully because the mindset is wrong.
Exactly. It's like Joey said in the last podcast, what I just watched about the environment we have. We can work from anywhere. If we can't work hard in this aspect, how are we supposed to, like with his mum, like our parents work hard in like a really bad environment, and we've got it perfect.
We've got good environment, we have great opportunity because of other people's sacrifices, you know?
Yeah.
There was this podcast clip I saw actually where someone was explaining, like, for you to be here, you had obviously 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 16 great grandparents, and so on. And like, it took all these people for you to be where you are now, right? And
why waste it?
Exactly. Why waste it? Why take that for granted? Like for some of us, we may, if we go back 4 or 5 generations, we might not have had anything to our name whatsoever. And it took one person in your family to give it the absolute all and sacrifice everything for you to then be in the position you're in.
Yeah.
And the reality is, though, probably because of the society we live in now, we kind of have lost this connection to family. I would say, you know, even in my own personal experience, probably have as well, that we probably don't learn about, you know, what sacrifices our great grandparents did or our great grandparents did, and so on and so forth. Well, probably, you know, if we only went back a few generations, they probably used to tell stories.
Yeah.
You know, your great grandfather came from nothing, you know. But nowadays, you never hear anything, to be honest with you. You know, a lot of people don't appreciate their parents anymore, you know, and it's crazy to see.
Because that's a lot of people's why. If that isn't one of your whys, then you're kind of doing something wrong. Like, at the end of the day, they brought you into this world. You've got to give that respect and give back to them.
That's it, you know, and I think a massive appreciation does come when you have kids for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I always appreciated my mum and my dad, you know, for all the sacrifices, the work and everything. However, I appreciated it tenfold when then I had a kid and realized what it actually is like, and then realized, you know, that you essentially have to sacrifice so much and to provide for the child and develop the child, and you know, it's essentially like literally the person that the child becomes is because of the parents, right? And the environment the parents, you know, are able to try and shape as well, even in bad situations, especially in bad situations, if anything. You know, when you don't have the money, when you don't have a good environment, and, you know, access to good resources, etc. In those moments, those parents, you know, they're the ones who, you know, really are commendable because they made the best out of a bad situation, you know. But and then when those kids, they grow up to not respect or show that appreciation, or
it's all that hard work gone to waste.
It's like hard work gone to waste, and it's a big shame, you know. It's a massive thing nowadays, I would say. But in terms of trading, so going back to, you know, what you're going to do, so you're going to go out to Thailand. I know you just came back from Greece. Yeah. But how do you find traveling? You know, is it a big motivation? Is it something that you're very passionate about?
Yeah, so something I've always wanted to do. With regards to trading as well, the way I kind of trialed it out in Greece, to be fair. Obviously, I've got my laptop at the minute. I've also bought an iPad next to it, and I don't know if people know, but you can kind of mirror
you can.
Your laptop to your iPad, so you do have them 2 screens. So that's kind of all I really need, to be fair. I did watch a YouTube video. I think it was Michael Bamba. I think he went to Greece as well, and he was trialing out, and he was saying, as long as you kind of have a space where you can go to, and then your head is focused on trading, then it can work. But if you're like out and about traveling, I don't see it working, because you do need to switch off and be in that space, and your full concentration is on trading for that 2 or 3
so like
hours.
You have to have that routine. You know, that same routine you have at home, you have to be able to replicate
different environment.
Yeah. And one thing I always say is, like, you know, if you're traveling on holiday for a week, you know, so like you went away for a week, you don't necessarily need to trade.
No.
You know, that's why I was saying to you, like, just switch off a bit, chill. But if you're going to Thailand for a month or months, it's different.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Because now you have a longer period of time where you're going to be able to build a routine. You know, when you go away for a week, you don't really build a routine, you know? You're just doing day-to-day stuff. It's different as well as if you're at, you know, even if it is a week and you're at a resort. That's a bit different, because then you're in one space. Yeah. While if you go to, let's say, New York, you're going to be out and about.
Your week planned out. Yeah.
And if you're in that time zone anyway, it sucks. It sucks anyway. But no, it's good to hear. At the end of the day, the trade and travel lifestyle, though is promoted and sometimes can be a negative for some people, it's a reality, though. It is a positive of trading, you know, and that's why a lot of people choose trading, because it allows you to have that freedom to be anywhere in the world.
Exactly. I think the lifestyle of, I'm going to sit on a beach with a cocktail and trade on holiday and make loads of money, that's kind of the bad way. That's what it is lifestyled, but there is a whole different perspective, like what we've said about being in a space, trading.
It's like, that's why like the priming technique is very powerful.
Yeah.
You know, so whether that's music for some people, cold showers for some people, meditation for some people, but being able to get your head into that zone, be able to get focused, it's a very powerful thing. And it can be very beneficial then if you use that as a form of technique for when you are traveling then. Because then if you've created this sort of priming technique, this routine, this habit that your mind is used to, when you then apply the same thing. So let's take meditation or cold showers, for example. Yeah. You do that every single time before your trading session.
Yeah.
And then you do the same when you're on holiday. It's it's pushing your mind straight into the environment that it's used to for them being focused for trading. And, it's like, again, there's no right or wrong of what people can do or what that priming technique can be. But if we don't understand this, and then think that we're just going to be able to rock up anywhere in the world and just start trading, like you said, like on the beach with a cocktail,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And I think setting a realistic expectation and a realistic approach and mindset is very important. Just to give people an actual, sort of expectation. Yeah. And to understand that, hey, it's not just freestyle. There is that.
You gotta have it planned out.
Yeah, you gotta have that plan. You gotta have that routine. One thing I did want to talk to yourself about is because you obviously come from somewhere which is quite, in terms of like everyone probably knows each other. It's a very small place, small town. So I would imagine that when you got into trading and stuff, probably all these people probably had their opinions, or probably a lot of people probably didn't even know what it was. Yeah. Right. And a lot of people probably telling you, Pat, why are you gonna do that, mate? Like all this, I see all this stuff online. It's all bullshit. Blah blah. How did you like sort of overcome that? Coming from this small circle and being able to. Yeah, firstly, how did you overcome that?
So obviously I started trading in COVID, so everyone had all the time in the world to do anything. And obviously the majority of the people, they'd be just gaming, Netflix. Obviously I was looking on Instagram. I first came across trading on Instagram. And I just thought to myself, if you have all that time, why not try to better yourself? Like if you're not bettering yourself in that time, making a bad into a good, then you're kind of never going to succeed.
When else are you going to do it?
Yeah, when else are you going to do it? So yeah, you do get stick for it, obviously, because you don't go into any business start making money straight away. So they don't see you making money straight away. So they're gonna claim it's bullshit. Yeah. People will go. They'll try trading. Obviously, they'll chuck a few £100 in, lose it all, and they go, "Oh, it's a scam." They don't give it time. So yeah, you do get a lot of. I did get quite a bit of negative shit towards me, but you just gotta block them out of your life, and just having such a small circle, it's all you need at the end of the day. As long as your family support you, your friends support you in that circle, then it's all you need.
Exactly. And one thing I was going to touch on then is that now I know that your network is it's expanded in terms of exactly. People all over the world. So how was that then, like going from sort of small place, small minds in a way, to then the world is your oyster?
Exactly. It's allowed me to connect with so many people who are like-minded as me, people who I want to be close to them in 5-10 years. I want to be on the same levels as them. Like, for example, people who I'm with today, I want to be on their levels. So you're surrounding yourself. At the end of the day, if you're going to be in a room with a load of people who are just doing fuck all, you're going to do fuck all. Whereas if I'm in a room with you guys, I'm going to be motivated to keep going. So it's all about surrounding yourself with the best people, and that's what I've been blessed really this year through meeting Albert, you, and it's just allowed me to connect with so many people. Like playing Xbox with Marco last night, we were playing COD, but we were still talking trading.
He's a savage. He's a savage at Call of Duty.
He surprised me. Like we were still playing, but like we were talking trading like all game. So like it's just amazing to connect with him. I think I spoke to him once at Salesons with you, but I've never really spoke to him. So it's just nice. Like exactly like that. It's just nice to connect with people. Like the meetups we did was amazing. You meet so many people, and like we spoke about before, training's a lonely game. But when you do start to connect with one person, it opens the gate to more and more people, and then soon enough you're surrounded with people who are exactly like you, exactly where you want to be.
Well, the thing is, like, you had to take action.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Like you could choose, especially being from a sort of smaller place and a place where everyone knows each other, and there's not really much going on. Yeah. You could choose to stay there. Right, and you can choose to not really decide to go anywhere else, but you chose to. What was that like? How did you go about doing that? And were you not fearful, but like were you a bit sort of apprehensive? A bit maybe not as confident.
Yeah, because you don't see any of that, because obviously you're locked into that town, so you don't see the world. Obviously, you go on holiday, but you're living life on holiday, but you don't really see the other people in the world. So I met Albie in Phantom, and obviously I think Al put me onto you, and I've met people through you. So it's at the end of the day, they're not going to come to you if I'm in a small town in Sleaford. You're not going to come knocking on my door and like,
hey man, how you doing?
Yeah. So you've got to go out there, put yourself out there. Along the way, you are going to meet people who may look good, but are not. But at the end of the day, like, you're the most genuine person I've met, and there's a lot of people who are exactly the same as you. So it just brings your success higher and higher and faster. Like, it just elevates you so much more.
Yeah. And I bet you weren't like, essentially you didn't like say, I'm going to go find someone, you know? It was more so just putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And whatever will be.
Yeah.
You know, and as you say, you come across some people who look good and they're not, they're just not quite, what they seem. You come across bad people, and that's just life, not just trading, but like just generally in life. You're going to have good friends, you're going to have bad friends, you're going to have good partners and bad partners, But the reality is, if you try and control such things, it never really works out well,
It's like Noah said on social media as well. People put on Instagram what you want to see. So like, you're the same person on Instagram than you are off the camera. And that's the most important thing, that a lot of the people who do put stuff on Instagram aren't the same as what they look like to be.
Exactly. And, in one way, it's kind of damaging to me as a brand, if you will, because social media is designed almost as this day and age's reality TV, So, like, that's why you see the highlight reels on social media. Is like people are portraying a character a lot of the time. And though I don't think I'd be good at it if I tried. Like, if I tried to play a character, I don't think I'd be very good. But, for me, it's like you say, like, being the same person you are here when the cameras are on versus when the cameras are off is the most powerful thing ever. Why? Because no one could ever try to hold anything against you, No one can try and say, hey, you're fake, right? Because the proof is here, you know what I mean? The proof is that I am the same voice, same thoughts, same mindset, same everything is here in front of the cameras, on the social media, as behind, when everything's off. And there's so much self-empowerment in that as well, because a lot of people, some people do it, innocently, innocently. They
don't
feel
know
like
they're doing it.
Yeah, they don't know they're doing it, and they also feel like that's what is needed.
Yeah.
So they do it innocently as well, and so it's not always like a malicious intent. And but there's so much empowerment in just being yourself at all times, because then again, no one could ever say anything against you. Like, I've had people where they try to attack me, try and say this, that, and but it doesn't matter, because I know. That's all that matters, really. I know who I am, right? And I know that I don't do that. And that's all that matters, And that's the beauty with trading as well. Is like, a lot of people, it's not that they fake. Especially people, there might be some people out there who do marketing and they fake stuff or whatever. Yeah. But there's some people who, like, they're shy to tell the truth about their own trading. They're shy to talk about their losses or their struggles. And it's a real shame, because that's where the growth is. That's why I love the podcast, because we get to talk about, what did you struggle with here?
Yeah.
What in life, what did you struggle with? Not just trading. So that kind of leads me to what I was going to say to you. Is like, so far in trading, what would you say has been the biggest lesson for you, or hurdle that was really at one point maybe extremely debilitating, or maybe even really negative or really depressing, and then now has kind of been something that you doesn't really come to you anymore, doesn't really feel impactful?
Yeah. So obviously when we last spoke, I was funded with FTMO. I got funded January. I think we did go. I don't know when we did our last podcast. I think it was June, July time.
Around that time.
Yeah. So it was around that time. A few weeks after the podcast, I had some like personal issues, and the feelings I got from that kind of took the best of me on my trading, and ended up losing the account. I wouldn't put the blame on the stuff what happened outside of trading on the trading, because at the end of the day, I pushed the buttons, I made them decisions. So yeah, I lost that account just after that. So I kind of just took a step back, to be fair, kind of reevaluated everything, and just kind of carried on trading, but realised what I did wrong, and tried to put that right. So I've been trading my personal for a few months now, and then I said to myself when I got back from Greece, I'd be ready to do another challenge and get back funded, because my goal was to be funded for when I go out. At the end of the day, I'm not going to put funded on a pedestal, but it would be nice to have that funding to trade while I'm out there.
Of course.
So that was probably the biggest lesson to me. because I've saw so many people say when you get funded, you can lose it straight away. And I kind of, because I already have like 4 or 5 payouts, I was like, oh, I've kind of gone past that stage.
Yeah.
And then it hit me. And I was like, right, it's reality now.
Mm.
I'm not all of this bee's knees kind of thing. So like it like you said, when you lost your challenge, your funded at the start, it makes you realise that there is a lot more work to do, and there always will be a lot more work to do, and that's kind of the work I put in from when I lost it to doing the challenge now. So
that's it, man. And I'm sure at the time it probably felt, not unbearable, but like very, very low. Probably, especially given the circumstances as well, adding it on top probably felt really, really bad. But at the end of the day, what did you do? You reflected. You kind of looked over or understood that. As you already said, you've already taken that self-accountability.
Yeah, exactly. The thing with trading is, at the end of the day, whatever happens, always goes back to you. It's not anyone else in this space. Even if you have like mentors, at the end of the day, it's your trading. So you've only got yourself to blame. So Definitely. I think that's the best thing about it.
Definitely. And as you say, though, like, you had the 4 or 5 payouts.
Yeah.
That consistency was there. And, an element from your language there, an element might have been that you kind of felt not untouchable, but like, that's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
If it was going to happen, it would have already
happened. I wouldn't have got that consistency. And I would never say that I'm not consistent now, because I am. I just went through a bad stage. So I would still call myself a consistent trader, because I've proven myself from when I did lose.
Well, consistency isn't defined by being funded, right?
Yeah, exactly. No.
I know that, being funded is a great opportunity, and yes, I feel like a lot of people use it as a badge of honor nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, I've achieved this funding. And don't get me wrong, being funded isn't easy, and passing challenges isn't easy necessarily. But it definitely shouldn't be on this pedestal of like, you can't be a consistent trader unless you're funded.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, before these funded companies, people were still traders.
It's a blessing for us, because you got to see it as a tool. Because like we said in the last one, people's end goal is to be a funded trader, but everyone says it. That's where they start. Riz said on the last one, that's where the journey properly starts, because that's when you can start to scale up fast.
Exactly, yeah. Because at the end of the day, look, you had 4 or 5 payouts on your account.
That money I got is sorted out my Thailand trip. So like, it's good to obviously, like I said, treat your loved ones, put it into savings, exactly like that.
And don't forget, like, if you got funded, even if it's on a 100k account, and you got a decent amount of payouts, and you're able to put in, say, even just 20k into a personal, that 20k could be the start of your the rest of your career as a trader, even without any more funding, right? Because that's a nice substantial lump sum of money that you, in terms of a job, for the average job, may take you years to save up. But now you've managed to do it in a few months using a funded account, and now you may not even have the funded account anymore. That personal, which some people may consider small, but you have to remember that's like the equity of 200k. So it's the equity of a 200k account. It's the same equity. It might not have the same buying or selling power in terms of leverage, but it's still the same equity. But now it's 100% yours. And if you are doing 1% risk, and you're doing, say, I don't know, 1 to 5s or let's say 1 to 5s, consistently, that could be 2k a month. And your job might be giving you 2k a month. So now you're making 4k a month, and it just builds, and people just don't not respect. It probably revolves back to the social media, right? Seeing the highlight reels, seeing the guy who's got this £1 million account who's made 100 grand today, but then people they see the 100 grand, but they don't see the no stops. They don't see that it's their own broker. They don't see all these things that are very important
behind the scenes.
And don't get me wrong, look, regardless of that, that's if people are marketing and being fake. Even if they're real and they have made 100 grand, right? And they did use stops, and that's them, and that's them trading 6-7 years probably, and you're here trading 2 years. Don't compare.
No.
Motivation, great. Right? Drive, great. Right? Knowing that it's possible, fantastic. But no need to compare ever, because as you said, trading is a personal game. It's always you. So like, when we start to include all these other people, their expectations, their achievements,
sometimes it's nice to say in the right way, because at the end of the day, when you're trading on your own, there is times where you think, can I actually make it in this game? And when you do see it from other people's perspective, then it almost gives you the energy to carry on, like you say, the motivational drive to get there, and it is doable.
Especially when it's people you've met. It's people in your community or in your circle. Especially if you've, as you said, come from a small place where people aren't really traders. And don't even believe in trading, to then branching out to speaking to other traders, branching out another level to meeting these traders.
Yeah.
You know, and by just doing
it can be faked on socials until you meet them in real life and you see how they are.
Yeah.
They can't fake real life.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Some people are good actors.
Yeah,
I've come across some in my time, not in trading wise, but yeah, it's 100% true though. 100% true. And you know, the more that connection is real and you're able to sort of see that, the better it is. So like for me, a big one was, for me, luckily, when I got into trading, a friend of mine who had become successful at trading, and I could see the fruit of the labor, you know, I could see, you know, the businesses being bought, the lifestyle increasing and so on. So I knew it was real already. Yeah. So I was lucky in that sense. Yeah. You know, that I got to see it was real from the get-go rather than elsewhere. But then same with the mentor, you know, a Rip, for example, my mentor, he, you know, I got to see a mindset, you know, and a lifestyle in terms of, had nice things, but it wasn't showing any nice things. You know, it wasn't like that was how I got to him. It was the chart work. So I got to see, okay, look, you can use chart work and inspire people that way, you know? Yeah. And then more importantly, the mindset, you know, in terms of how he treats life, how he treats trading, you know? So being able to connect and see someone who's doing it successfully and what are the habits, what are the reoccurring themes, what are the focus points that this individual who is successful uses. Yeah. Rather than, oh my goodness, he said he's funded $1 million or 2 million. Oh my goodness, he said that he does, you know, 1 to 10s every day. Or, oh my, you know, these essentially clickbaity things, you know? Yeah. Instead of those things, you know, what mindset did he use? You know, what struggles did he go through? You know, or what things has he focused on that got him successful? You know, and asking those sort of questions. Yeah. You know, I remember I did a free 1-to-1. I gave away a free 1-to-1 in that Telegram channel that I created. Yeah. And straight away the guy asked me, "Can I bring my friends? They trade too." And I said to him like, "No." The only reason I said no is because I was like, it's a 1-to-1, and I'm trying to help you. No. Right? Yeah. No, I don't mind helping your friends, but what I was trying to instill was like, this is your opportunity for you to help your trading. I understand, because I could imagine the guy's probably young, but like, I understand you want to look out for your friends, but I promise you, if things are tough, they ain't gonna look out for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in trading, it's you and you, right? So there's no point, right? And then when it came to the 1-to-1, he no preparation, didn't join on his laptop, joined on his phone, and he only asked me basically like 1 question or 2 questions, and that was it. And I was just like, what a waste, you know? This is the mindset, you know? It's like, you know, I don't care about wasting my time. I honestly don't care. It's more like you're going to waste so many years and money and time pretending that you want to trade, when in reality, I can already see you don't even have the fire. You don't even have the motivational drive for it, you know? You
have to be selfish sometimes. In that instance, he had to be selfish and go, this is my time to make something work.
Yeah, and then actually be efficient with it. Because I even said, like, we set the call for like 24 hours, 48 hours time. I said to him, write down any questions, you know, send them to me beforehand if you'd like. You know, nothing. No. 2 questions on his phone, you know, not even camera on, nothing. You know, and I was just like, wow, like this is you know, the state of some people. You know, they honestly don't care. Like, have you come across any people, you know, who you know, in your time trading, like, who were similar, like they were talking like, I want to be a trader, but
like I said, there's a few people who have reached out to me from like my town and stuff, and like asked how I have started and stuff. And I think a lot of people do the same thing, where they kind of put them towards baby pips and see how they go on with that. I've never personally did baby pips, but obviously it's a free course online what does kind of teach you the basics.
That's what my friend did with me.
Yeah,
exactly, like he would get a lot of people.
Yeah. So like, to be honest with you, I don't think anyone's come back from after that. They ask, how did you get into it, how and stuff. I say, here's the link, have a look through that. If you do enjoy it, come back and I can put you in the right way to put you onto like good communities and stuff like that. And I don't think
it's like a test.
And yeah, exactly. A lot of them don't come back because, like you say, they just want the lifestyle and they don't want everything behind it, like the chart work and everything like that. And
there's no passion, you know, that. And they're not serious about success. You know, this is the thing. Like, to be serious about success, you have to be serious about, you know, taking action. You have to turn up. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, you know. And this is the thing, it's a universal thing. So it's not trading related. So like when I had Josh on the podcast, when I've had Thomas on the podcast, even when I had my mum on the podcast, for example, it's the same theme. You know, it's putting yourself out there, going through adversity, being willing to do things for free, being willing to sacrifice, you know. But the amount of people who talk the big game, you know,
don't deliver it,
and they don't. It's not even that they don't deliver it, but they don't even prove to themselves. And the worst thing about that is that the subconscious mind is always listening. So when you're lying to yourself, essentially,
Yeah.
right, your subconscious is getting used to you lying to yourself.
Yeah.
So even when you do finally get passionate about something, the hardship is that you're going to have to convince your mind that you truly are telling the truth this time. By this point, you built a habit of telling your subconscious lies. I want to be a trader. I want to be a boxer. I want to be a footballer. I want to be this. I want to be that. But you never put any action, no conviction, no intention.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You got to have passion for it, because if you don't love it, you're not going to be happy doing it. So like you got to have that passion, you got to have that love to whatever career you're going in life, because if you don't, you're just not going to be successful. And if you do get successful, you more than likely won't be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah, well, most of the time people won't get successful. I truly believe that you have to have some form of passion to do something, you know, because if you don't have that passion and that drive behind it, because the passion, what I believe is that without that passion, when you have the hardship or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, trading, anything, when you have that hardship, how are you going to get over it? Yeah, because the hardship will come. I don't think there's any sort of journey that you can just join and suddenly, it's so easy and so comfortable, and you're not going to ever feel any failure. But without the passion, how do you convince your mind to keep going? You know what I mean? Like, how do you say, I actually enjoy this, I want this? If you don't have that feeling, how are you going to overcome it? That's why so many traders, they have the losses and losses and losses. That's why they quit, because they don't actually have the passion. They got in the signal provider, the marketer, whatever it may be.
It's the passion and also the why. It's like, why, what do you want from it? Why have you started from this? What's your motivational goals? If you don't have any of that, then when you do take 3 or 4 losses in a day, it's like, well, I'm done. It's a scam.
Definitely.
So you do have to have that behind you.
Well, that's what interesting you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you, like, what is your inspiration? What is your, it doesn't have to be detailed in terms of your why, but is there any, specific source of inspiration that helps you to push? It could be someone from the past, in terms of like someone who's famous. It could be a family, friend.
Tough question.
I thought, I was thinking of, those things you can get, those table topics.
Yeah.
I was thinking I'll bring them on the podcast, start whipping them out.
It's I'd probably say family and friends, to be fair. And obviously everyone trades, at the end of the day, everyone trades for money, because money is a tool to give you the freedom in life, to allow you to quit your job, to allow you to go into other investments and other incomes and stuff like that. So firstly, I'd say definitely money. Secondly, I'd say giving back to my parents, allowing the time to spend time with my family and friends, and just doing something what you love day in, day out. Marco always speaks about how he constantly loves trading. He's like what you said, he does it at weekends, he does it in the week. So like that drive, I honestly love trading. I know everyone who I'm with also does as well. So when you're doing a thing you love, and that gives you the chance to have freedom, to spend time with your friends, spend time with your family, to go on holidays, to treat them, I think that's probably my why.
Definitely, man.
There's no kind of figure like famous people or anything. I think everyone in my circle is my figures for me.
I like that.
Like I want to be parts of them. I want to have within me.
Oh no, I appreciate that. No, 100%, because I felt very similar, actually. Interesting enough, when starting the podcast, meeting Alb, obviously Alb kind of opened the door to a lot of other traders I'd never come across, such as yourself, such as Mansa, such as Marshy, even, like all these different people. And it's very, very interesting you mentioned that, because it's a very motivating thing, like Riz, for example, like when you get around these individuals, and even though they're similar ages, similar background, into trading, but each one has a some form of sort of energy, some sort of mindset, some sort of routine, something that you can really connect with. And it's not like they're saying to you, hey, Riz, go do this, go do that, or go try this because I did it. No, it's literally just being around them, just talking to them in just small essences, or just be observing them. They're them, Yeah,
even like little chats on like DMs and stuff, like you get a lot from that.
100%.
Like, for example, like Manza's like psychology and stuff, like your Telegram, his Telegram, like there's a lot to prove from that, and that's what everyone speaks about. Manza is psychology, and obviously his trading is amazing as well, but like meeting people like that, and then you take bits from them and bring it into yourself.
That's it. Like I made a video on that, actually. It was called I think I spoke about this on another podcast, but it's like I think I called it the pieces to the puzzle, something like that, where essentially it's like, you can pick up something. It's like a book. Like the book, the book's got 300 pages. It's not 300 pages of value for you, right? You might get value from page 59, while the next person got value from page 102, right? but each book has some nugget of information, right?
Yeah.
Some sort of key, some sort of puzzle piece for the
Yeah.
bigger picture, yeah? And it's the same in life, like in people you come across, like in positive and negative, you know? So like, as we mentioned, like Mansa, for example, Riz, for example, Albert, for example, like I always say, like, I wouldn't have the podcast I have now, or I wouldn't be able to do the podcast I do right now if I didn't find out about this studio, because of Alp, right? I might have eventually had one down the line. Who knows when, 5 years from now, 10 years, who knows, right? But I was only thankfully able to do that. And that's a piece of a puzzle, you know, to the bigger picture. Just like with Mansa, same thing, you know, just like with Riz, just like with you, just like with everyone. Like it's all a piece to the puzzle, you know, and that's how it should be, you know, even like I said, with the negatives, you know, a lot of people talk about Astro. There were what you could call a negative experience, but there were so many pieces to the puzzle that were necessary, you know, for me to be able to learn. And even then, like maybe I wouldn't have a podcast because I started the Words of Rizdom podcast when I was there. So I had like Joe, I had Noah, I had a few of the other people who worked there, you know, it started there, you know. So again, who knows if I would have a podcast? Yeah,
because that drive for doing a podcast has come from that.
Exactly.
If you didn't do that, you might not be not.
Exactly. So it's like, even if anything, the negatives hold a lot more pieces, you know, because those negative and hardship experiences really shape your mindset, shape who you are, and teach you what you need to know to be successful. Yeah. To be able to have that callous mind, to be able to, you know, especially in trading, you know, you take a loss because of having no stop, or take a, you know, over leverage, or have a lack of knowledge. Those lessons, what lead you to be consistent if you allow it, if you take it on board. And the problem is, and I posted about this, I think, a couple of days ago, it's essentially like a lesson will repeat itself in life, especially in trading, over and over until you learn from it, right? And in trading, if you could over leverage 10 times, and you'll keep doing it until you decide to learn from it. And that was a big part of my trading journey, was that I kept doing very similar mistakes, right? Not, you know, every single day, like back to back, but it'll be like, I'll do this mistake, blow an account, okay. And then a month later, a month and a half later, do the same mistake, blow the account. 3 months later, do that mistake, blow the account. So until I decided that I'm okay, this lesson
change, it's come enough times.
That's it, you know. And it's so true in trading, whether it's funding, whether it's personal account, whether it's anything. If you don't learn from the lessons, and the thing is, those lessons will always come. You know, even when you're consistent. There's always something. You know, I made this mistake, and it might not be a thing where the mistake is, you know, detrimental, like, you know, you've blown an account because of this one mistake. It might even just be that I took 2 unnecessary losses. But the truth is, those 2 losses make a big difference because they stack up over time, you know. So like, you know, rather than having a, I don't know, 2.5% week, you ended up having a 1.5% week because you took 2 losses.
It's little things like that. If you do cut them out, say if you did take them 2 losses and a winner comes an hour later or something, and you're in a different mindset now, you do miss out on that. If you do take out whatever caused you to have them losses, then you're going to be in a fresh mindset. You see the win, you take it,
that's the
and
thing.
it leads on.
Because I explain that. I say, like, look, our goal as traders isn't to necessarily take more trades.
No.
So we can't try and say, okay, let me predict how I can take more, right? However, if I can try and work on taking the less, cutting out the trades that don't fit the plan,
for sure,
like you said there, it opens the opportunity for your mindset to be prepared for the trades that do fit the plan. So, you know, automatically by just taking out the trades that don't fit the plan, you've increased your profit. Right?
Exactly.
Without doing any more. Just But as you say, the opportunity then to actually take a trade that does increase, and with the risk to reward, etc., it's an incredible amount.
It's like Mans has been speaking a lot about, as well as what I've taken on board, is about shooting less but shooting more, so less trades but kind of upping that risk, because
it's like being a sniper, actual sniper.
Because there's times, like for example, Monday morning I took 1 trade, 10R, and I was done for the week. There's what I was going to say, I forgot completely what I was going to say now.
Was that focus on quality?
Exactly. And it puts the trading, so the trading's boring now, but boring trading is good trading. Obviously you trade less in the future when you do have that good funding, you do have them 6-figure personals, you do want to be trading less because you want to be living life more, you want to be with family and friends. So if you do start to trade less now and take them high probability setups, then 1 to 2 trades a month can be your month done, and then you can just do other stuff.
That's it. You know, like when people talk about trading is boring, for example, or needs to be boring, I think there's a misconception that it shouldn't be enjoyable. You know what I mean? People think, because I've heard this like debate where it's like, trading isn't boring for me. I love getting, but there's a difference. When we say boring, because I say the same. When we say boring, we don't mean not enjoyable.
No.
We just mean that it's repetitive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's repetitive.
Because you've got that entry deal every time. So when you sit down, then you're waiting for that trade. You've got to be in a clear space
State
of
of calm,
mind, and you tick it off every time.
And you still enjoy it.
I've got that. Execute, and then
that's it. And it's like, unfortunately, people mistake calmness with being boring and not enjoyable, and versus gambling nature. Where you're like on the chart, like I need to get a trade right now. Oh, what can I find? That's gambling, right? That's not enjoyment. That is gambling. That's the heightened state, right? When in reality you can enjoy being calm, right? If anything, we want to enjoy being nice and relaxed. I remember the days of waking up at 3 a.m. and having a trade in drawdown and looking at squinting, heart beating and squinting out my eye. Look, oh no, and then I can't go back to sleep, and I'm awake all night, and in the end, the trade ends up being a loss anyway. So it was all a waste of time. And that's not how you want to be living. Imagine being 35 years old, having kids, and still doing that lifestyle. One, it's not healthy. Two, it's not sustainable, and three, it's not real. That is a gambling mindset. That's essentially what you're doing. Is you're waking up at 3 a.m. If you really want to put it into context, you're waking up at 3 a.m. and going on a slot machine on your phone.
I think if you're not kind of calm when a trade is presenting itself, then you need to believe more in your strategy. One, you don't have enough data to support the strategy, or you just don't have the belief in the strategy. So if you do believe in your strategy that you are going to be consistent and profitable over months, then the calmness just comes along because you're confident in the strategy. Obviously, you say about probabilities, like it may not work out this time, but it may work out for someone else. You just got to accept that. If you journal it, you got to journal it, review it, move on, and then keep the calmness.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of people, they claim they have a plan and a strategy, but the reality is they just have a rule. The rules that they have is just confluences. Right? So if you allow your rules just to be confluences, and what I mean by that is just random. Like I need 5 confluences, and there was a time where I thought that was trading. Right?
Same here.
Yeah, I actually thought that was trading before, and only did I, through experience and through learning, etc., did I get to change that. But if you think it's just confluences, that leaves you open to having random. Basically, every trade is random. They might have all 5 confluences, but that doesn't matter when they're all random confluences. The reality is you need to have a mechanical approach. As you say, this, and this. So you need to have... Now, your trades won't look identical.
No.
Right? So the way they present themselves isn't identical. No. Because otherwise the market would be...
The candlestick's going to be different sizes.
Exactly.
Exactly,
yeah. Where they're positioned, the amount of pips, all this. But the confluences are identical every single time.
Exactly.
Right? So the same confluences, whether it's, Fibonacci, trend line, order block, breaker structure, whatever it may be, right? Let's say you got 5, but they're the 5 identical ones every single time. That's an edge. Right? And that's where you build the data. That's where you make the decisions of, is this profitable or not? Do I need to change this or not? Tweak this or not? But the majority of people just don't put in that work, That's where the passion comes in. To do that work, you need to, to be willing to put in the work of whether it's backtesting, whether it's journaling, whether it's actually just being reflective as a whole, turning up every single day, putting in those hours. You're not going to be willing to do all that stuff if you're not passionate.
No, exactly.
And because otherwise you might do it for a week, you might do it for a month, you might do it for 3 months, but it will just fade.
Slowly.
It will just fade. But I think that comes towards an end. I know obviously you're going to Thailand. You're going to have to let us know how it is. When you get back, we're going to have to do another podcast.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, and then because I know a lot of people are looking out there, they got their sites out there. I know your friend is out there.
So Shane... he's been out there for about a year at the minute. I still need to speak to him about how long I'm going for, so I need to speak to him before this comes out.
But, this won't come out for a while. Anyway,
so he's lived out there for a year. He's got a small little... I think he's got a small little community with some students, and he trades as well. So I think with regards to like the costs and everything, I do think the costs have gone up. I think
because everyone's the demand is probably higher.
Yeah, but you see it on Twitter, like you can live on this in Thailand for a month, and like it kind of depends what lifestyle you want. But I've been looking at because we want to kind of get a villa, our own little space for exactly why I want to have that space for me to trade. Another thing I wanted to say about the time zone out there is so good because I think about 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon is London Open. So I do want to get in a good routine where I can wake up, go gym.
Have the whole morning.
Exactly. And then you come back refreshed.
Yeah, because that's the tough one, isn't it? Like waking up and straight away you're essentially straight, unless you're getting up super early.
Yeah.
You're straight on the chart. Because same for me, like, I was contemplating going to Canada or living somewhere else, basically, either Canada or America. And then I literally straight away thought about 1, taxes, and 2, time zone. I was like, nope, no, it's not worth it. So I thought the other side, obviously, go towards the east, taxes, Dubai, time zone, also Dubai, and you're like, okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm looking at that too, and it's adventure. You know, that's what it's about. Yeah? Regardless of anything, even regardless of trading or taxes, adventure. Exactly, we can all be born and brought up in the same country. A lot of people, unfortunately, just the same town. But where's the adventure?
A lot of people don't have the opportunity for it, and we're blessed to have the opportunity. Like, there's people I speak to at work and gym and stuff, like when I say about that I'm going to Thailand, they go, oh, I wish I did that while I was younger and stuff. And even having the opportunity to do it, we're all blessed to have that opportunity if we did want to do it.
We are indeed. We are indeed. And that's where gratitude comes in. And, and by being gratitude and having gratitude, and feeling blessed in that sense and understanding that we are blessed to have that opportunity, I think it makes appreciation and our understanding much more greater. And if anything, it allows us to work harder as well, knowing that we could easily not have this opportunity. Even to trade. A lot of people don't have phones. A lot of people don't have access to Wi-Fi. And a lot of people don't have access to good people and knowledge.
I don't know about you, but it surprised me how little people, especially in my town, how little people know about the opportunities on the internet still to this day. Like, it probably won't be the same as in London, but like, I feel like I couldn't have many conversations with people in my town unless I don't know them, who I could sit down and talk about.
A lot of it does come to environment, isn't it? Like, what people are exposed to. So like in Nottingham, for example, which isn't far from you. There's a lot more awareness, especially nowadays, of course, of online businesses. But a lot, especially in our culture, like my culture in terms of like Asian, a lot of people try just for conventional business, So, it might be a restaurant normally, it might be a shisha lounge, might be a corner shop, or nowadays like more like vape shops and stuff like that's their sort of, and that's for the people who want to be entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, a lot of people, depending on the area they're from, their environment of success is only drug dealers. Unfortunately, right? So their mindset in terms of when they're growing up is observing success as people who are drug dealers, right? And the reason for that, though, is that because the only people they see around them in their environment who have the signs of success in terms of cars or money or whatever it may be are those individuals. So it's not that person's fault necessarily.
But it's all they know, though,
It's all they know. Yes, don't get me wrong. In the end of the day, it always comes back to the individual taking action and deciding what they take in and so on. Right, but there is an element of what the subconscious has taken in growing up in the environment. So that's where when you hear about it's being blessed, right? Having that gratitude, having people who may shape your mind, and what we talked about earlier about parents actively when they may be in a bad environment, maybe not have the income, but being able to shape the mind of the child to observe other things, take in other things, right? It's a very powerful thing. So, environment is a very big thing, and there's never too late to change your environment. And that's the beauty of the internet. Is the internet opens the door to any environment, any nature of people. And it's a choice of what you take in, and a big part of it comes into content, whether it's Netflix, whether it's movies, whether it's music, whether it's videos, wherever it is. Choosing who you subscribe to, who you listen to, who you take in, right, and who you look up to. That's a choice. Right. It's not like someone told you, hey, go look up FX lifestyle. It's a choice. And at any moment you can choose to change. You don't have to constantly stay on the same cycle. It takes action. It's not easy, and it's kind of similar to what Noah said on the podcast previously. Is you have to take that struggle of building the habit. Right? In anything, whether it's diet related, exercise related, friends related, anything, right? It's hard, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Definitely. I guess that's how we can finish on that one. Remember how was it Top Gear? They used to be like finishing on that bombshell or something like that. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. That might be we might get banned. but no worries. Pat, it was a pleasure.
I appreciate having me back home.
No, 100%. Hopefully we'll have you back on shortly after you're back, or maybe before. Who knows? I know Marshy wants to come on, so maybe we can do a joint one like that.
Shame he couldn't come today.
I know.
It's a long trip though, but.
Poor excuses. No, it's okay. no, it's very busy actually. I was in Central yesterday. It was packed. But we're going to go out and have some food now. And Pat, enjoy. And thank you everyone for attending and listening. I know we got this third camera this time. I didn't even realize.
I didn't either.
And maybe I need to lose some weight before we put that one out there. Who knows? But take care everyone. Thank you.